welcome to this week's live IELTS classes. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Budapest here in summertime. I hope everybody is having a good week so far, staying productive and staying healthy. Welcome Pagidi, hi Dasi, nice to see some new students. Welcome Maksud, good to see some of our regular students as well. In this class, we are looking at IELTS Speaking Part 1. I will be discussing what it takes to produce Band 9 answers. And of course, these materials are coming from aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there. And for general IELTS, check us out at ieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. Now, students, this is a speaking class, so make sure to speak lots, okay? So speak and repeat. It's great that you are writing into the chat, but definitely use your voice as well. Hi, Puneet. Hi, Samuel. Nice to see our members as well. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Before we get going, students, I always want to share this with you, especially with new students. But of course, I want to remind our regular students that you have the opportunity to practice speaking for free on our websites. And because this is a speaking class, in these speaking classes, I want to show you this. Now, I made it dark on purpose so you can see this. Okay, this is our academic IELTS website here at aehelp.com, and our general IELTS website is like this with the green background. But more importantly, when you click this red button, you join and you get a My Student account. In your My Student account, you have lots of great materials, computer-based practice exams, and then you have this student partner speaking option. And that's absolutely free. You can use that for free in our demo free version of the website as well. You click on that, and then you accept to join, and it will open up a new window in your computer. And then in that new window, you will always find some students who are hanging out and waiting for somebody to ping them and either do an audio, video, or text. So this is live. You can actually see that right now there's a Dimitri, a Frizo Beck, a Rasprit, a Yug, and probably some more people, a Mohammed. And they're all in here waiting for somebody to join up and practice some speaking with them. So keep this window open on your computer, and somebody will ping you. Somebody will be like, hey, do you want to practice some speaking? And then you can click on one of these categories to find questions for the speaking. And you can do video chat just like with Skype or WhatsApp, but it's built into the website. And you can do that on the general version as well. They're linked together for this service, the academic and the general. Okay, so I'll brighten up our day here, and that's absolutely free, 100% free. Okay, you can use it right out of the demo class as well. All right. If you find that it's not working for you, Akanshka, either send us a screenshot, try different people. Okay, it definitely works for a lot of people. Some countries, unfortunately, have restrictions on chat software like WhatsApp or Skype. So that can always be a problem as well. Okay, that's your country's firewall, and there's not much we can do about that on our end, unfortunately. There's still no perfect free-flowing information in the world. And if you do have questions, students, then definitely you can contact me at adrian@aehelp.com. Okay? All right. So this week, again, of course, today, speaking part 1. Tomorrow, we'll do a task 1 with our members. And then we'll have a reading class for everyone. And then later, we'll have a full essay on the same day, starting with members, finishing with everyone. And then we'll have a Q&A session for members and a speaking part 3. So that's kind of the schedule to look forward to. Hi, Ashraf. Hi, Carolina. All right, everyone. So let's get into it. for today's speaking practice, again, remember to speak, everyone. So speak. Use your voice. Don't be shy. Being confident is very, very important for success in the IELTS exam, okay? So you really want to just believe in yourself, do your best, okay? Try to think about it this way too. There's definitely students who are going to have a lower level than you in the IELTS speaking interview, and there's a very good chance that some students will have a higher level than you, so don't worry about it. Just do your best. The examiner is there to do a job, okay? They're as objective as possible. They've been trained, and you just need to really focus on your strategies and giving complete sentences, all right? So don't worry about the rest of it. All right, so here we go. Let's warm up a little bit before we talk more strategy. So your speaking interview for the IELTS, it's about 12 to 15 minutes. It's usually with a native English speaker, sometimes with a very high-level non-native speaker. And they will welcome you to the interview room, and they will begin by asking for your full name. So they will say, what is your full name? Welcome to the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. Please take your seat. What is your full name? They will likely be seated already. Okay. Lydia says, my name is Lydia Gerges. You can call me by my first name, which is Lydia. Okay, that looks really good, Lydia. Get a little bit more there. Let me just check what that was. If you don't mind. Yeah, I don't think you need to say Lydia if you don't mind. They're not going to mind. Okay. All right. Majed Aoun says, my name is Majed. It means glorious in the Arabic language. My family name is Aoun. Please just call me Majed. Yeah, you can say that. That shows nice fluency. My name is Adrian. It means man from the dark sea. Of course, the Adriatic Sea near Italy. Okay. Samuel Sadir Vara says, my given names are Samuel Sadir and my surname is Vara. Please just call me Samuel. Samuel, that works really well. Again, nice fluency. It's confident. It's natural. That's what you want to do. You want to show that with this question. Okay. Irene Domingo says, my full name is Irene Domingo. Please just call me Irene for short. Irene, it's not short for Irene. It's just call me Irene, okay, not for short Irene, because Irene is the same as Irene. It's not a short version of Irene, okay? All right. Nagaiman says, my family name is Nagaim, and my given name is An. Please just call me An. That works, sure. So let's do this. All right. So again, be fluent. My full name is Zachary Wellington. I keep trying to make up something new. Wellington. Please just call me Zach for short. Okay, so if you use that for short, it's a short version or form of your name. Okay, so Zach, you can see Zach here. Zachary. Zach is short for Zachary. Okay, so repeat after me. My full name is Zachary Wellington. Please just call me Zach for short. All right? Good. And the next question is always, may I see your identification? May I see your identification? All right? So give me a nice full sentence for this one. May I see your identification? Again, try different ways, be natural. Make sure you don't make any mistakes with this, all right? You definitely don't want to have mistakes in the basic introduction during your speaking interview, all right? Nice, we have lots of members in the class now. I saw that. Okay. So Jot Gaming says, of course, here it is. Please take a look. Yep, that's good. Lydia says, yes, certainly. Here's my passport that I used to register for the test. Please have a look. Puneet says, Yes, sure. Here's my passport for your reference. Yeah, that works, Puneet. I like that. Okay, it's a nice way to say it. It's a different way. It's good and it's natural, Puneet. Yes, sure. Here's my passport for your reference. Another way you could say it as well, Puneet, you're helping me think of a few other ways here, is yes, of course. Here is my passport that I used to register for the exam. Please have a look for verification. Okay. So that works because really what the examiner is doing is they're using your passport to verify, that means authenticate, that you are you. Okay, they look at your passport, they look at you, they look at your passport, they look at you, they make sure that your facial features match the picture, your name is matching, and they're certain that you are you. So they're verifying your identity. And so it's okay to say that. I mean, most people should be familiar with what's going on in the test before they sit the exam. It's a very serious test of English proficiency and quite expensive. So you definitely want to know the protocol. And when you do, you can use nice vocabulary like this right in the beginning. So repeat after me. May I see your identification? Yes, of course. Here's my passport that I used to register for the exam. Please have a look for verification. Okay. And then right away, you're using some nice fluency, some nice vocabulary, and that's great. The examiner's thinking, okay, good. So this student's really kind of thought about how they're going to approach this part of the test, which is fantastic. Okay. All right. Secure Now says, here it is. Secure Now, you want to be more fluent than that. Okay. So yeah, I know students, it sounds like you can just go in there and say, okay, here it is, but you want to be more fluent than that. So your first answer, Secure Now, sure, here is my passport that I used to register for this exam, is better. Okay, just make sure you don't have mistakes in there. Secure, all right? Pay attention to that. Emma, so I see that you're having difficulties playing with some of the videos on IELTS. Again, it could be a national restriction. You might need to use a VPN. Send me an email. So students, if you're ever using our software and you have any kind of difficulty, just send us an email. You should know that videos in some countries are tricky because you have national restrictions, especially if your IP addresses are moving through China or certain other countries. Okay? So send me an email and I'll respond to that. All right? You might need to use a VPN in that case. All right. So let's go to the next one. Where do you live? Okay, where do you live? That's a very common question. It's a common icebreaker. When you're asked about where do you live, think about it as a two-part answer to show fluency. Okay, so the city, region, plus your residence. Okay, apartment or house. Okay, so these are the two elements that you should be thinking about for this question of where do you live. All right, Maksud says, I live in the heart of Tashkent, which is the capital of Uzbekistan, in a two-story house with my lovely family. Maksud, that is a very nice answer, and that will work perfectly. Okay, all right. Botir says, I live in Tashkent since my childhood, in a big house with my family and with modern facilities. Okay, modern facilities, it's kind of strange, I think, Botir, to mention that, but living in Tashkent since your childhood in a big home with your family, yeah, that's fine. That works well. Okay, that's good. All right. Let's keep going here. Let's keep going. Nikhil Pasta says, I live in Pune city in the western part of India, which has a diverse population. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment on the 7th floor of the building. Okay, that's good, Nick Hill. A little bit of correction with the grammar and being more accurate, being more natural, so pay attention to that. Divas Karki says, I live in the heart of Kathmandu, which is the capital of Nepal, with my family in a duplex apartment with 2 bedrooms and a lovely garden. Not sure what 2 sizes bedrooms means, but 2 bedrooms, Divas, okay? Just 2 bedrooms. All right. Beckjan says, I reside in a 4-bedroom house with my family in a small village, Ushkun, and I've been living there since my childhood. Very good. Yeah, residence and reside. Reside is a nice word as well. So I reside in a 2-bedroom apartment near the Danube River in the heart of Budapest, the capital of Hungary, with my lovely wife and daughter. All right, so that's a very nice, fluent, clear way to answer this question, not to mention that I'm also showing some idiomatic language. So you want to do that as soon as possible. Here we go again. Speak and repeat, everyone. So repeat after me. Where do you live? I reside in a 2-bedroom apartment near the Danube River in the heart of Budapest, the capital of Hungary, with my lovely wife and daughter. So this is answering the question directly, clearly. It's unique language. It's specific. It's using quantitative language, 2-bedroom apartment. So that's quantity, it's numbers, right? 2-bedroom, okay? Just like many of you said, the 4th floor or the 7th floor, that's good, that's quantitative language. Live is being paraphrased with reside, as Beckjan showed us, that's very good. So when you can paraphrase like live and reside, you're getting marks for lexical resource. And then of course, in the heart of Budapest, that's idiomatic language, as I've mentioned before, so you're picking up more marks for idiomatic language, and that's what you want to do, okay? And then just a nice little finish, visual, with my lovely wife and daughter. Throwing in the word lovely, again, it's an adjective, and you're picking up more scores. Now, you're not just picking up scores for lexical resource, but even grammar, because you're showing more complex grammar. You're not just using noun and noun, but you're using adjective, noun, and noun, right? So keep that in mind. Okay, then comes the next question. Do you have any hobbies? So again, give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Do you have any hobbies? Okay, very common question or an icebreaker for the examiners. Do you have any hobbies? Okay. Peya says, certainly, like others, I do have several hobbies such as gardening, watching flicks, and listening to music, particularly Rabindra Sangeet. Nice. I like that smooth flowing example, Peya. I like how you're saying particularly. Yeah, using particularly, specifically, just. That's great vocabulary to add smooth flowing examples. Okay, examples are very important, and you want smooth examples for answers using just or specifically or particularly. Okay. So that will work nicely to give a smooth flowing example. You don't want to say, for example, because then the examiners kind of get scared that you're going to go off topic or you're going to talk for too long. So just like Peya did, using particularly, and then the name of a famous singer that Paya likes to listen to. So listening to music, particularly Rabindra Sangeet. Now that will get you points. It shows more fluency, it shows more coherence, and shows more natural language. Okay. Amanjot says, yeah, I like to do gardening in the front area of my home. Moreover, listening to music also makes me full of energy. Amanjot, the front area of your home is literally called your front yard or your front garden. Okay, you can say that. So just a little bit of vocab there. Okay, front yard, all right, or front garden. So that's how you can refer to that. Okay, it's a little bit of vocabulary there to be more accurate, more specific. Zahid says, I reside in Navi Mumbai, the heart of the city, Maharashtra, with lots of natural beauty. Okay, and then Zahid mentioned your house or your home. That's for the previous question, I'm assuming. Okay, let's see some more answers for this one. Now I see lots. Okay, Jaswinder Singh says, yes, I have hobbies such as listening to music, trying new dishes, and gardening. However, some of the time I like reading books and history and literature as well. Jaswinder, not bad. Rather than giving too many hobbies, giving 2 or 3 is absolutely fine. And then give an example of how you enjoy your hobby. That will get you more points. It shows more complex language. Okay. All right, Natalie says, drawing is one of my hobbies, but my skills are not quite evolved yet, so I tend to paint by numbers. Okay, that's interesting, Natalie, and it's very unique. And then I saw that you added a little bit more to that further down the road. Also, I like nail modeling and design, like pedicures, manicure, an esthetician, that type of thing, Natalie. I'm guessing is what you're talking about. I'm not an expert in that field, that's for sure. Okay, Kartika says, yes, I've got a couple of interesting hobbies like singing, dancing, reading books, and gardening. These activities make me happy, and it makes me more energized and positive throughout my week. Okay, Kartika, not bad. Students, again, really avoid the word things. So don't say these things make me happy, Kartika, but say these activities make me happy. Okay, so yes, I love to partake in cooking and dancing when I have some spare time. These days, I'm learning rhythm dances with my wife, specifically salsa, hustle, and rumba. I'm truly enjoying sharing this hobby with my better half. All right. So, again, details, originality, and smooth flowing examples, complex language will get you those high band scores. Notice what I'm doing here. So yes, I love to partake in cooking and dancing when I have some spare time. So our hobbies are activities that we do in our spare time. And here, the sentence looks like it's fairly simple, but in fact, it's nice and complex. In the first part here, yes, I love to partake in cooking and dancing. That's my independent clause or my main clause. And then here, I have my dependent clause, or also called a subordinating clause, when I have some spare time. And this is showing condition. And since I'm using when, not if, I'm showing a real condition using the subordinating conjunction when. Okay, so right away I'm showing the examiner that I can use complex language. Yes, I love to partake in cooking and dancing when I have some spare time. And then I go into a little bit of detail. So these days I'm learning rhythm dances with my wife, specifically, just like I said, those smooth flowing examples, salsa, hustle, and rumba. I'm truly enjoying sharing this hobby with my better half. Okay, better half is an interesting way. It's an idiomatic expression to refer to our partners. So your wife or your husband. One kind of funny way that we refer to our other half is our better half. Okay, meaning that they tend to be better than us at times. All right, so again, students, your band score for the IELTS for the speaking, it's put together from your fluency. Okay, so they look at 4 criteria. They look at coherence and fluency, and they kind of group that into one, but it really is 2 kind of ideas. They also look at grammatical range and accuracy. We have a new speaking video on our channel where we go into a lot of detail about this, so check that out. Okay, it's with there's a mock interview with a candidate from China. So grammatical range and accuracy. They also look at lexical resource. That's basically the vocabulary that you use, and then they also look at pronunciation, which is not that important, pronunciation. Even if you have a thick accent, it's okay as long as the examiner can clearly understand what you're trying to say. Even if it's a thick accent, it's okay. But all of these together are made up of what's called coherence plus complexity plus natural language. Okay, so at the end of the day, when you have fluent and coherent language, when you have good grammatical range, present perfect, conditionals, and you're using those accurately, if they're not accurate, then you're not coherent. Okay, if you're not fluent, you're not coherent. So you have to remember that these are kind of connected. Lexical resource is vocabulary. If you don't have enough vocabulary, it's hard to show grammatical range. And then pronunciation, if you have bad pronunciation, meaning that you mispronounce words where we can't really understand what you mean, then it's low coherence. So at the end of the day, coherence is king. Okay? And some of you are probably thinking, well, Adrian also says content is king. Yeah, so you want to have coherent, good content. That's basically what you're thinking about. And then, of course, you need to show complexity. So you can't be overly simple. You can't be like, I am Adrian. I like apple juice. I play soccer. Yeah, then, of course, you're going to get a fairly low score if you do that. And you have to sound natural. Native speakers can speak their language fairly complex, which means that being complex also helps you to be natural. Being complex also helps you to be coherent. Being natural also helps you to be coherent. Okay? So this is what you want to think about when you're assessing your speaking skills. All right? Now, in order to do that, make sure you always give an answer, an explanation, and an example. Okay. Give an answer, explanation, and an example. All right. Okay, so let's say you're doing a fantastic job and you're feeling good about this. So the examiner says, all right, let's keep going here. Let's talk about sleeping for part 1. This could easily be one of your topics. All right. So let's talk about sleeping. First question, how many hours do you sleep each night? So how many hours do you sleep each night? Aman Jot Kaur says, well, it varies. When I have night duties, I sleep for 2 or 3 hours, but on other duties, I often sleep for 6 to 7 hours. Okay. Beckjohn says, each night I sleep for around 6 hours from 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. And I have been stick with this schedule for over 4 hours. 4 years, I'm thinking, Beckjohn, instead of 4 hours. Beckjohn, also, I have stuck, not I have been stick. It's I have been sticking with this schedule. So if you want to use the present perfect progressive, you must remember the ing. So I have been sticking to this schedule for the past 4 years. Or if you want to use the present perfect, then I have stuck to this schedule for the past 4 years because I've been a university student. So I study until late night and I wake up early for classes. Remember to give the reason, Beckjohn, okay? So Beckjohn, making that answer much better, it would sound like this. Each night I sleep for around 6 hours from 1 a.m. till 7 a.m. I have stuck to this schedule for the past 4 years in university as I study late and then wake up early for class or work. Okay? That's how you want to do that one, Beckjohn. All right. Let's see some other people here. Hardik Modi says, I usually sleep 6 to 7 hours every night, but on weekends this number is less as I'm fond of watching movies till late night. Yesterday I was up till 3 a.m. watching the Avengers. Okay, Hardik, so good. It's good that you finish with on the weekend, I'm up late night, but then give me an example. Give me a smooth flowing example, right? That's a perfect situation, Hardik, to push that example of last night I was up watching Friends until 3 a.m. practicing my English for this test today, okay? Okay, Just Beer says, usually I sleep for about 5 hours each night because I wake up early in the morning for prayer and I feel rejuvenated at this time. Okay. So, most of the time, especially on weekdays, I sleep 7 hours a night and wake up around 6:30 a.m. to go for a jog. On the weekends, I sleep in until about 8 a.m. So I get an extra hour of sleep. Okay. Now, I really liked how many of you used quantitative language. So from this time to this time, an average of this many hours. That's really good. Okay. So repeat after me. How many hours do you sleep each night? Most of the time, especially on weekdays, I sleep 7 hours a night and wake up around 6:30 a.m. to go for a jog. On the weekends, I sleep in until about 8 a.m. so I get an extra hour of sleep. Now, if some of you did the math, you're probably thinking, Adrian, that's an extra 90 minutes. But I might go to sleep a little bit later. All right. Okay, next question here. So what time do you go to sleep? And then brackets, why? Of course, here, logically, you should indicate the reason. So why you go to sleep at that time. So let's see some answers here. What time do you go to sleep? And why? So, you know, part one, it tends to be easier. It's meant to be a little bit easier, but you want to give nice full sentence answers with good reasons and explanations, okay? So, Surani says, I sleep at around 7 or 8 p.m. and then wake up at 4 to prepare breakfast and do a bit of exercise. Okay, so why do you go to sleep at 7 or 8 p.m., Seni? Students, when you list the time, like you say 7 or 8, always start with the smaller number first and then go for the bigger number. It's more natural. So, Seni, it's more natural to say 7 or 8 than saying 8 or 7. It's awkward to go backwards, right? Maksud says, as I'm both a full-time student and I work part-time, I usually hit the hay late around 11 or past and fall asleep until my alarm clock wakes me up at 6 a.m. the next day. Just yesterday, I fell into bed after midnight after working a double shift. Okay, Maksud, that's good. All right. I like how you used hit the hay. Very nice. Natural expression. Okay. That was well done. All right. Let's keep going here. So Deepak Chanchlani says, I hit the sack usually around 10 p.m. as I'm early to bed and early to rise. I wake up at around 4 a.m. every day to invest that fresh hour to meditate and calm any anxiety. Okay, calm. Yeah, that's some nice expressions there. So I'm going to just highlight these for some of our viewers that maybe are finding this new. So hit the hay or hit the sack. Those are both idiomatic expressions, which means go to bed. Okay. They're very common. We use those quite often in English, okay? Hay is, of course, dried straw that is fed to horses. And a long time ago, people used to sleep on hay before we had more modern beds. So that's where that comes from. People working in the fields and on farms, and then when they're really tired, they just kind of fall on that stack of hay. So they hit the hay or they hit the sack, okay? That's where that comes from. It's good. It's nice to see some of you using those, all right? Tanarit says that as well. I usually hit the hay at 10 p.m. after accomplishing my tasks for the day and meditate just before going to bed. Very nice. Okay. Pachu Yadav says, frankly speaking, I go to bed at 10 p.m. at night because I have to get up early in the morning at 6 and go to work. Fair enough, Pachu. Bekjan says, if I've already answered this question in the first response, do I need to repeat it again? It's a very good question, Bekjan. Not necessarily repeat, but give more detail, right? So some of you have answered what time you go to bed, but most of you did not answer why you go to bed at that time. So what's your logic behind that? Okay. So here, let's say somebody did answer it. You can say, well, as I had just mentioned, I usually hit the hay around 10 p.m. because I need at least 7 hours of sleep to function throughout the next day. Also, my 4-year-old daughter demands a lot of energy. So I need to get to bed at this time to keep up with her. Okay, so you want to be critical thinkers and you want to always elaborate, all right? In part 3, oftentimes the examiner will say, can you elaborate? Can you add more detail to that? Can you give me an example? Okay. In part 1, they keep it a little bit simpler, so they might just say, why? But in essence, it's the same. So what you're thinking about always is to elaborate. Don't go off topic. Stay on topic. You're still talking about the time that you go to bed. You're just giving more details for the reasons to do that. Okay, so that's what you have to keep in mind. All right, good question, Beck John. Elaborate. Even if you feel like you've answered the question previously, go into more detail. Come up with some more dynamic information. Okay, so here we go. Repeat after me. What time do you go to sleep? Well, as I just mentioned, I usually hit the hay around 10 p.m. because I need at least 7 hours of sleep to function throughout the next day. Also, my 4-year-old daughter demands a lot of energy, so I need to get to bed at this time to keep up with her. Okay, good. So again, students, speak and repeat. Remember, speak and repeat. Okay, very important. Very important here to speak and repeat. Okay, next question. When do you wake up? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. So when do you wake up? All right. Raspreet Kaur says, usually I wake up at 4 a.m. because I'm fond to do exercise in the early morning for 2 hours. It keeps me healthy and gives me lots of energy. Good. Lydia says, in the past few weeks, I started to rise and shine in the early morning at 9 a.m. when the sun poured through my windows. Since there are a plethora of assignments that I have to achieve, such as preparing the position paper amendments to negotiate with delegates in the MUN conference. Lydia, careful to use acronyms that might not be familiar for your examiner. So the MUN conference, I'm not familiar with it. Maybe I missed something. As well as being on time for the IELTS live sessions on YouTube by Adrian for an hour to keep getting more knowledge. All right, Lydia. Got you. Good. Lydia, careful with that expression. Rise and shine is something that we say to people to do, but to rise and shine, it's a little bit awkward in that context. So in the past few weeks, I have started to get up early in the morning, I would say, not rise and shine. I understand it. It's slightly awkward, Lydia. It's slightly awkward used in that way. Okay. All right. Just Beer says, I usually wake up around 4:30 to pray, read some holy books for meditation. Also, it helps me to improve concentration while working and helps my body stay fit and healthy. Very good, Just Beer. Samuel says, I usually wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. It gives me time for exercise, to go for a jog early in the morning and start my day with positive energy. Very nice, Samuel. Don't overcomplicate unnecessarily, students. All right. Lam Fu says, I get up at 5 a.m. to continue sleeping till 6 because of my laziness. So Lam Fu, you snooze. I get up at 5 a.m. and snooze until 6 a.m., right? So you can say that, okay? I often get up initially at 5, let's say 5:30, and then snooze until about 6:15, and finally roll out of bed at 6:30. This is my wake up ritual, and it helps me start the day with a positive energy. My wife calls me a hibernating bear. All right. Then I go for a jog, as I said before. All right. So sure, why not? Let's give you a very visual kind of example with some very natural type of language. Okay, here we go. Repeat after me. When do you wake up? I often get up initially at 5:30 and then snooze until about 6:15 and finally roll out of bed at 6:30. This is my wake up ritual, and it helps me start the day with a positive energy. My wife calls me a hibernating bear. Then I go for a jog, as I said before. All right. Sometimes I'm like that. I'm not always like that, students. That's just kind of for a very visual kind of language. All right. Freebird Vishu says, I usually wake up at 3 a.m. just to meditate at my fixed schedule from 3:15 to 4:15. This helps me start the day with a relaxed mind. Wow, that's incredible. Veli says, well, I get up at 6 p.m. because I go for a jog in the early morning to start my day more functionally. Veli, 6 a.m., not p.m. if it's an early start to the day or early morning especially. So make sure you don't confuse p.m. and a.m. Okay. Zahid says, I wake up early at 8 a.m. as to start the workday with new thoughts and energy because of my laziness. And going for a new life with prayer with God, so the whole day is more energetic. All right, Zahid, not bad. Couple of awkward word choice mistakes there, so I fixed it a bit. Pay attention to that. Okay, so here we go. Next question. Do you remember your dreams from your sleep? Can you give me an example? So here, the examiner is getting into some more complex questions, which is normal. The speaking exam does get more and more challenging as you go along. And even in part one, the first one or two questions will be significantly easier than the last couple of questions. Okay, so do you remember your dreams from your sleep? Can you give some examples? All right, Murasa Baraki says, yes, I remember them very well. Just 2 days back, I saw in my dream that in my center, an examiner was taking my IELTS speaking test, and I was very happy because I answered smoothly, and the examiner appreciated me. Very good, Murasa. That would be, I'm sure that would get a smile on your examiner's face. Kevin Bowie says, unfortunately, I don't have much recollection of my dreams. They are just a bunch of hazy images that quickly fade away every morning when I wake up. Strangely enough, most of my friends have vivid portrayals of their dreams, which they often tell me about. Just the other day, I was intrigued listening to my classmate Joy's dream of winning a lottery. All right, Kevin, not bad. I think the end there about your friends' dreams, it's starting to kind of swerve away from the topic because it's your dreams, so not the dreams of my family or friends. So I'd be a little bit careful to go off on a tangent, as we say, because you might get interrupted at that point by the examiner with a fresh question. Okay. Carolina Asano says, yes, I do. I usually remember my last dream before I wake up. I was told that we have many dreams when we sleep. Particularly last night, I dreamt about playing with my dog and my family at the center. Okay, Carolina, cool. So it sounds like it's a happy dream, which is fantastic. All right. Very nice. Natalie says, I can easily reconstruct a couple of them. The first was with loads of cuddled hads hunting me, and another one with a man with black. Oop, Natalie, it sounds like you're having some nightmares. Make sure that if you're talking about them, you can clearly describe them. Students, this question's tricky. If you can't clearly explain your dream, just make something up, okay? So I was running in a field of candy and chocolate bars, so keep it simple, make it up. If you say that you can remember your dream, don't start explaining some very complex dream. Dreams can be very, very difficult and complex, even to explain in your own language, so be careful. Shahtaj says, not really. I don't remember all of my dreams unless I recall them as soon as I wake up. I dreamt of flying to Dubai and skydiving there just last night. Okay, that's exciting. Just Winter says, I mostly remember the dreams I have. However, some of them vanish from my mind. Last week I dreamt about an exam time running out and I couldn't complete my paper. Oh no, Jaswinder, it sounds like you're having nightmares about your exam. Just take a deep breath and relax. Hardik says, I'm not very good at remembering the dreams that I have while sleeping, but I remember that last night I had a dream where I was throwing a party for friends for getting the required band scores in IELTS. Very nice, Hardik. I like it. Okay, Puneet says, to be honest, I don't think there's anything I recall about my dreams. I usually get illusions of what's going on in my mind, though. And this is my point of view. I'm sure people dream of being superheroes. All right, Puneet, careful. You're not answering the question right. I had to change a lot of your answer. All right. So, yes, I do recall some of my dreams from time to time. I would say probably 3 to 4 times a month. Sometimes they are good, like catching a huge fish with my dad on the lake, and at other times they are nightmares, like falling off a high building. Okay. I think many people have had that dream where you dream like you tripped or you fell, and even in real life you kick your bed or you tap your leg or hit your leg on your bed because you were dreaming that you fell off the edge of the street or the sidewalk or something like that. Maybe I'm just out to lunch and I'm the only one who has that kind of a dream, but I've definitely had that a couple times where I trip or fall and then I kick the bed. Sometimes it wakes up my wife. She's like, what's going on? All right, so here we go. Repeat after me. Do you remember your dreams from your sleep? Can you give an example? Yes, I do recall some of my dreams from time to time. I would say probably 3 to 4 times a month. Sometimes they're good, like catching a huge fish with my dad on the lake, and at other times they're nightmares, like falling off a high building. Okay, nightmares are those bad dreams. All right. So here are a couple more questions for you to try on your own, everyone. Has the way you sleep changed in the last 10 years? Is this good or bad? And if you could change something about your sleeping, what would it be? So try those questions on your own. And thank you so much for participating in today's class. I think we got a lot of good practice in today, which is really nice. And then tomorrow I will be back with some task 1 for members and then some reading for everyone. And I'm sorry if I didn't get to everybody's comment, but again, it's great practice. So don't just write in the chat because I'm reading it, but also do it for practice and make sure that you say it. Okay, so practice your speaking. Remember, you can practice for free with other students at aehelp.com and also at gieltshelp.com, and there are lots of goodies there. So for those of you who like those websites, I highly recommend joining the premium package so that you can really, really maximize your IELTS band scores. And hey, if you're spending hundreds of dollars on your test, it's worth spending $20, $30 on these websites so that you can really do the best that you can when you get to your next exam. That's it for me for today. I will be back tomorrow with those 2 classes. Thank you so much. You're very welcome, everyone. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Much love. I'm Adrian signing out from Budapest. Bye for now.